When I'm walking down the
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
my head up.
I'm South Carolina, so I just
got it.
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Morris?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? John.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
the doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. Yesterday, the Lax family finally won their lawsuit. Very interesting here in the city of Baltimore. They had to go and get Ben Crump, an out-of-town lawyer, to handle an otherwise historical case because none of the attorneys here in Baltimore and Maryland wanted to handle that. So later on today, around 1 p.m., we will be talking to the family of Henrietta Lacks right here on this network, blackusa.news. For now, we're going to be speaking with June Wood. Welcome to the show, June. How are you?
I'm good, Doni. How are you?
I'm good. What's on your mind today?
Well, we're talking about the Charlize Angel Latanya Gilliam Foundation. It's a foundation that we started 2 years ago on June the 6th, which would have been Charlize's 24th birthday. She succumbed to leukemia and another cancer on May 23rd, 2020. And she was one of my line sister's daughters who attended Poly and graduated with honors. And then she attended Morgan State University for a couple of years, pursuing a nursing degree. And so we started a foundation that helps students, and we give out scholarships to Morgan State University students where she went to school and her aunt Gail went, who's another soror. And then we gave out foundations to our Towson University, whereby her mom, Tanya Wilson, my line sister of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, we went to Towson. So we've given out I just wrote 2 checks for $1,000 each for Morgan and Towson today. And so we're up to about $10,500 in scholarships in the last 2 years, which is awesome. And so we're here and just came on the show again. I think we were on the show a couple months ago.
You were. Now, how old was this young lady when she got her wings?
She was 20. She was 20 years old, and she would have been 21 in 2 weeks. So she was 20 years old.
What's the lesson?
The lesson is you just never know when it's your time. I mean, it was her time. She accomplished a lot in her first 20 years of life, and we're just going to honor her and just keep her. She was very well educated, and so we're just going to keep her memory alive in education through scholarships.
We've just been joined by my insurance agent, Gail B. Hi, Gail B.
How are you? How are you? Good morning, Diane. I'm so sorry. It kept telling me I was in the waiting room, and I was saying, "Why are they talking?" And I'm not in. So sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I had to sign out and come back in again.
Gail, let's plug your business. You know I'm big on business.
Oh yes, Donnie's my client, and I'm with State Farm Insurance, Gail Moody in Towson, Maryland. But Donnie, do you mind if I jump in and piggyback on what June was talking about, the foundation?
Okay, as long as you sit still.
Okay. So, because what I really wanted to talk about, and June and I discussed this. June's the president of the board of the Charlize Angel Latanya Gilliam Foundation. And what I really wanted to talk about is the importance of encouraging folks to support foundations, ours and foundations like ours, that continue to promote and try to do what we can to help provide the resources for our students who want to go to college. So, students who look like us, or children of color who are interested in college and the nursing field, and that's mainly what we focus on, or the medical field. But there are a lot of foundations out there that are doing what we can to make sure, if that is something these students want to do, that they want to aspire to higher education, that we continue to support that and we continue to get that message out there. So with the whole affirmative action change and all that's going on in politics and coming down the pike, it is extremely important that we not only support our children and get them where they want to be, but that we also support our foundations that support our children. So I wanted to come on today to encourage folks to donate. Even if you donate $5 or $2 or whatever that is, there are so many organizations like ours, and the work that we do is so important, trying to raise money to make sure that these kids can go to school and do the things that they want to do. And they're our children, they're our future. So many of us won't be here in 10 or 20 years or 30 years or whatever it is, but these children will, God willing. So we need to make sure that we're providing a path for them to do what they need to do to get the education that they need. And foundations like ours ensure that that happens. So
Well, can I throw a little something in there, Gail?
Absolutely.
First of all, you belong to a sorority.
Mm-hmm.
Did we plug the sorority? I'm not sure about that.
Well, I mean, Joan and I are in a sorority, and that's kind of how this was formed, and she'll talk more about that.
What sorority, June? She's being evasive.
Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Now, is it true that the Deltas run the state of Maryland when it comes to sororities?
Well, the truth of the matter is the Deltas run the world, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about how we can encourage people to support foundations like ours. So, Donnie, I wanted to hear your intake, because I know a lot of people admire and respect you, as do I. What would you say to your listeners about supporting foundations like the Charlize Angel Latanya Gilliam Foundation and the like? And how do we encourage more folks? There's no amount too small. There's no amount too big. How do we encourage people, corporations, businesses? We have so many people that have businesses that can be supporting organizations like ours. How do we encourage that so that we can continue our very important work?
That's a very interesting question, and I'm going to give you a very unique perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember back in the day they had the Jerry Lewis telethon?
Absolutely. I very much remember it.
We would stay up all night sometimes watching the entertainment that would come on there. And so we're talking about the broader topic of philanthropy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Of giving back. There have been those who say, and even on this show as recently as Monday, that integration was the beginning of our end.
Mm-hmm.
There are those that would say that when we lived all in one community, when the doctor, the teacher, the dentist, the lawyer all lived on Druid Hill Avenue, for instance,
okay.
we were more tight-knit.
Mm-hmm.
We were more cohesive as a community.
Okay.
But then you mentioned affirmative action. When the riots went down in 68, white America was petrified.
Mm-hmm.
The sleeping giant has awakened.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started making concessions because they saw that there was no more kumbaya. There was no more I have a dream, nonviolence. They realized that black people were sick and tired of white America's dumb stuff. And so one of the things that happened is we started moving. We started moving from East Baltimore to Towson. We started moving from West Baltimore to Randallstown. But in that process, many of us began to forsake the community, the very same community that had gotten us through slavery, Jim Crow, because, Baltimore has a strong and long history when it comes to black people. Stop moving your camera, Gail, it's fine. That we had the largest population of free blacks in the United States, right here in Baltimore. So Baltimore, despite all of the negative things that the Smith family and Fox 45 try to paint about our black politicians, the Mosbys, Brandon, and any and everybody else, despite all of that negativity, they've done that because there's been a plan going back to the Civil War to dilute our power.
Mm.
We have some of the strongest black people in the world right here in Baltimore. You two have traveled. You have been many places. And when you tell them you from Baltimore, what they do, they take a step back because they know this is not a game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much deeper than the wire. It's historical. So we have a power, and people have been usurping our power because we've become less cohesive. Some of us moved to Randallstown, and the only challenge is not reaching back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So one thing I wanted to say is that when it comes from a philanthropic standpoint, people have taken advantage of our money, of our kindness. You see it on North and 83 every day. Black people won't give a squeegee kid $1, but they'll give a white homeless person $5. I've seen it with my own eyes. We have been inundated with a self-hate. So many people have taken advantage of us. Despite all that they say about my community, you've been here to Santan. You helped me with looking at my house and coverage and all of those things. We have poor white people in the alley, unheard of 7 years ago. So there's so many attacks on the black community that some of us are tired when it comes to giving back, because when it comes to philanthropy and nonprofits, they say that only 10% of philanthropic dollars actually go to the cause. And 90% goes to the CEOs of the American Cancer Foundation. 90% goes to, remember the CARE commercials when we were kids? They showed the little skinny black kids, and you still got little skinny black kids because it's so much deeper than that. It's European powers in Africa colonizing and splitting up. So all of that to say, we have to give back anyway. And I think what's beautiful about your purpose, your mission, is I know you, and you don't do foolishness, but not everybody has that credibility.
Right.
And I'll tell you somebody else who has messed it up for the philanthropic dollars. Preachers. Preachers.
Well,
I've been to churches where they take 3 offerings before you even get to the sermon.
Well,
And so people are tired.
Yeah, I get it. So a couple points I want to make to what you said. I to speak to preachers. I know some preachers that are doing great work. So I don't really know any of the ones that aren't.
I went to a church, Gail. They had a building fund for 40 years. Well, damn, ain't the building built?
Yeah, but there's so much that goes to upkeeping a building, and I don't want to get off track because I know there's so much that goes into maintaining churches and upkeeping buildings.
But when your preacher driving in a Gucci Fiat, it ain't very encouraging. I'm sorry I'm saying.
Yeah, but there's some CEOs and other people that drive nice cars too. So I don't think that's the point. But let me get back to what I was going to say.
If the preacher's driving a Gucci Fiat, I want to be driving one too. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
So you talked about the history, the rich history of Baltimore. And you and I talked about doing something about that on my podcast together. So I love that idea. But what I want to say is that we do have a rich history, and our people have a rich history. And we want to make sure that we continue that rich history. So we have to be able to encourage our children to go to school if that's what they desire to do, get their education, get a trade, whatever it is. We have to continue that rich history because we have some brilliant, brilliant young minds.
But there's one caveat.
Wait a minute, we have to do everything in our power to continue to encourage those young minds. Now, here's what I will say about the money piece, where people talk about not all the money going to where it's supposed to go. There are organizations, I'm sure, that have overhead. We don't have that. So we make sure that our dollars are going to these students. We give the money away. So it's okay to ask an organization, what percentage are you giving away? I ask that all the time, even when I'm in a store and they say, oh, would you like to donate, $1 to XYZ? I ask all the time, what percentage of this dollar will go to the organization itself and not to administrative fees and all that? They should know that. And if they don't know that, what percentage they're going to give away, then you should have the right to deny giving them your money. So my point is, I just want to make sure that people continue, do the work. If you understand that there are organizations that may not spend all the money the way they should spend it, do the research, find out what type of work they're doing. Ask them, how many scholarships have you given out since you started? How many kids have been affected by it? How many kids have you helped? Or whatever the case is, whatever the cause is, it's your obligation before you give to do the research and ask questions if you seriously have questions about how the money is spent. But I don't want a few bad apples to discourage people.
It ain't a few of them, it's a bunch of them. I got to ask you a question, June.
Yes.
Do you know anyone who's ever received a United Negro College Fund scholarship?
No.
Well, damn. Neither do I.
Well, once you talked about Randallstown, it hit my nerve. So I'm gonna say this real quick. I was a family who we lived in Baltimore City off of what was that, Chatham Road and Liberty Heights. And when I was 10 years old, my father was a principal, my mother was a teacher. They've been in the Baltimore City school system for 40 years. And now they're deceased, but they worked at the Baltimore City school system for 40 years. But we did move out to Randallstown when I was 10 years old. So when
I
you
love
said
Randallstown.
Okay.
Y'all got bunny rabbits, deer, and foxes. It's better than triggers, rats, and roaches.
So I just had to make that clear that I am one of those products of moving from Baltimore City to going to Randallstown. So, but no, I have not heard of anybody that had a United Negro College.
Gail, this is the point. No, it's my turn, Gail.
Oh, sorry. I have a lot to say.
I know, but there's the one thing that I want you to consider. It's beautiful to give back to our students. We've all seen, and maybe in our own families, had student athletes. I have one friend and from high school, and his son is doing really well in basketball. And it's yay, going here, scholarship to there, blah, blah, blah. The one thing that I must reiterate that I think we have to do better, whether they play basketball, music, or whatever, if we don't teach our children about the give back. See, you said it in the very beginning. Hold up, that 20, 30 years, I'm going to live to be 99. But, we're going to, leave one day. But if we don't teach them the give back, see, if we give a man a fish, he eat for a day. But if we teach them to fish, we get to eat for a lifetime. We don't teach them. He go on to sports, so they go get a scholarship, they make it to the NBA, and they never come back to the community. They never come back. Cecil Rec right there on Kirk Avenue hasn't been renovated in my lifetime. Greenmount Rec, Easterwood Rec. Carmelo built something and people got this chatter, but at least he put his name on something.
Absolutely.
We have all of these mega athletes that come through Baltimore, and what have they built?
Mm.
And they say, oh, well, we give back, we give back. Where's the building at? Over in D.C., Benning Park in Southeast, brand new wreck. They got lights, football fields, and it's like we are failing these young people because we want to give them everything, because some of us feel like, well, I didn't have it growing up. I'm not giving you. You're going to earn it the same damn way I had to earn it. That's all I got to say.
Well, I love what you're saying, because I agree. It starts early, and we have to teach our children about giving back, because this thing has to pay forward. We have to continue to give back, to lift up, and then encourage our children to do the same. They're never too young for you to take them to, like, I take my daughter to Our Daily Bread and places like that, and I've taken her there for years, you know,
Yes.
as soon as she was old enough to go.
Yes.
And goes with her friends. She takes her friends. So yes, that kind of thing should happen. And it's up to us to make sure that that happens, because the whole philanthropic piece has to continue. It starts with us. It's going to continue with the next generation and our children and their children. But we've got to be the ones to teach them. So it's that's the only reason we wanted to come on, is to encourage folks to give to the Charlize Angel Latanya Gilliam Foundation, to give to other causes that are uplifting our communities and helping our children to be better, to be what they were called and put on this earth to be. And we just want to make sure that they have that opportunity, and that we are the ones that are lifting them up, because we are the shoulders that these children will stand on. So I'm going to jump off my soapbox. But
June, have you ever heard of the nonprofit industrial complex?
Why are you asking me all these questions, Doni? No, I have not.
You came on the Emmy-nominated Donnie Glover show. What do you think this was?
I haven't heard of it either.
No, I haven't heard of it.
Are you aware of the many nonprofits? I live in Sandtown, where Freddie Gray happened in 2015, 8 years ago. During Freddie Gray, I watched Channel 13. I watched the United Way collect money on television for Freddie Gray. I watched other entities collect money to the tune of $19 million for Freddie Gray. We have not seen one penny of those dollars. What I'm saying is, there are people we call poverty pimps. They see situations, they jump in, and they collect money. I don't know what they've done, but they claim that they're helping the community. And if so many of these philanthropic dollars are being collected for the community, then why is murder so rampant? Why are our children in classrooms that don't have air in the warmer months, that don't have heat? I mean, Poly and City are struggling with heat right now in the winter. People are wearing coats at our public schools, but yet we, as a country, sent $40 billion off the break to Ukraine. I mean, when you mention accountability, you run a business, Gail. I don't know sometimes.
Doni, let me go back to what you mentioned something about the United Negro College Fund a few minutes ago, and about you asked June about whether that money is
No, I asked if she knew any recipient.
Right, of a scholarship. So I'm not sure how that operations works, and I'm glad to do the research on that. But I think organizations like that filter that money to other organizations to give out. I think that might be how that works, but I'm not sure. I don't know that the money would come directly from the United Negro College Fund. I think they filter the money to other organizations, other philanthropic organizations to give away. But I'll get back to you on that, because that's what I think happens, but I could be wrong too. So since I don't know, but I was in my mind, I was thinking about that, but I'll look into it and get back to you on that.
It is a science. Just like preachers are real good at any preacher that collects a lot of money, what is the one main ingredient they have to have besides good preaching? They have to have a good music department. If the music
everybody loves a great music department.
But that's when they call for the offering. The same with these nonprofit commercials. They're like, well, if you just donate $1 a day. I've seen them do commercials for dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
During Hurricane Katrina, save the dogs.
Right.
Save the dogs. These are
Well,
the same people that put a rope around our neck.
your point is well taken about
Poverty
maybe
pimps.
a lot of organizations don't do what they're supposed to do when it comes to spending the dollars that they collect. What I'm here to say is our organization does.
I know you do. That's why you're here.
Yeah,
You
and
don't
there are
play,
a lot of
Gail.
other organizations that do great work with the money that they collect too. So I do. There's always going to be a negative story that we can tell, but I'm here to tell the good story and tell about the good work that we're doing and the kids that we're helping and other organizations are helping.
Let's hear about these kids you're helping.
I'm sorry.
Let's hear, some success stories of the kids you are helping.
Well, we've only been in existence 2 years now, and we've given out, June, you can
Maybe 14, 15 scholarships.
Yeah, we've given out 15 scholarships already in the short time that we've been in existence. And, it matters. These kids are so grateful. When they have to go online and research and come up with, a million organizations to help pay for their education, they're grateful when we step in and say, hey, we want to contribute to that. So I love the work that we're doing. I love that we have so many donors who help us who believe in what we do and help our mission, and they want to continue. But there's more to be done. There's a lot more to be done. And I just want to encourage folks to continue to give to our organizations and organizations.
I also want to say this as a student currently at an HBCU. For years, I'm 58. For years, I've seen Black colleges say that they don't have enough money. I started at Morehouse, and even back then, the tuition was, sky high. What I'm getting to is education can be a big scam. I've seen Black colleges beg for money, and then when you finally get to the Black college, the customer service on a lot of these Black campuses is horrendous.
Okay.
So we have a responsibility to make sure that these colleges are delivering world-class customer service to the student who is the customer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot of times we don't.
I agree. And
we
got
Black people on these campuses who should have retired or gotten out of the way, or who don't understand, or who have the mentality, I've got mine and you got yours to get. Help me, somebody.
Right.
Make you want to push them right in the harbor, Gail.
And we don't just give to, we do give to students at HBCUs, but we also give to students at Towson, students coming out of Poly, wherever they're going to go. So we do give to other institutions. So it's not, I love the HBCUs. I'm a product of Morgan State University, a proud product of Morgan State University. So
you ever been in the financial aid line at Morgan?
Who hasn't stood in the financial aid line, Morgan? Who hasn't done that? Hey, that's a rite of passage to stand in the financial aid line at Morgan. So
ain't no damn rite of passage. It's torture.
I'm proud to say I stood in the financial aid line at Morgan, and look at me now. So there's with progress comes a little bit of struggle, right?
A little bit.
Hey, I love Morgan. I'm a product of Morgan. Morgan raised me, I like to say. So I have nothing but great things to say about Morgan. Morgan made me who I am today. And institutions like Morgan will continue to raise generations of children. Our job and our goal and our mission.
Don't keep begging for money at these HBCUs. You're going to give up poor customer service. I was on a Zoom call, and a lady, it was like 10 students that had financial aid problems. And this African-American sister started doing the chicken neck thing. And it's like, come on, just help them with their financial aid. That's what they need. And it's like, so often we have that I got mine and you got yours to get mentality. If you're going to be at a Black campus, on a HBCU, treat your people well. But some of us, I'm Dr. So-and-so.
Yeah, well, you know what I say. They treat you bad at Walmart and McDonald's and everywhere else.
Won't.
But
they won't. I'm not taking no bad customer service.
The service at some of those places isn't always up to par. but that's not a reflection of the organization as a whole, I say. So because you have one bad experience or a couple bad experiences with a representative at Morgan, that's not a reflection of the institution as a whole. So I still
You sound
say
like you doing PR for Morgan.
no,
They should hire you to do
but
PR.
I still say we have to continue to support these HBCUs. They're doing great work and they're putting out great product. I
I
mean, you
support it. Hey, listen,
look
I
at you.
talked to Dr. David Wilson about 3 weeks ago because Towson and the Maryland Higher Education Commission allowed Towson to replicate a business program at Towson when you have one at Morgan. So I'm on the front lines fighting to make sure that Morgan, Coppin, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Bowie State get the money that they deserve. There wasn't that long ago that a certain leader at the University of Baltimore wanted to combine UB, Coppin, and BCCC at a time when Coppin didn't have a president. So I'm always on the front line fighting for our HBCUs. At the same time, after we get the money, we have to be good stewards over what the good Lord has blessed us with. Because what I'm seeing increasingly on Black campuses are white faces. White faces. They get the other race grant to go to Morgan.
Right, absolutely. The schools are becoming more diverse. Well, what I will say to circle back around is that when we give our scholarships at the Charlize Angel Latanya Gilliam Foundation, we put the money in the student's hand. So they don't have to go stand in the line at Morgan to get our money. We make sure that, well, they do, but we make sure that the money gets to them. So there's no long process, go stand in a 10,000 people line to get the money. We make sure that the process is streamlined and that money gets to the students. And June and Tracy on our board, they circle back with the school, and the school is accountable to them for when the student got the money. So we make sure that that's taken care of.
June, that's the very important part. When Robert Smith gave money to Morehouse students to cover that whole graduating class, when Bill Cosby, because he was one of the biggest givers to HBCUs, what I've learned is when you give large sums of money, you have to, if you give them up 30 million, 20 million, 10, you have to put a person on that school to make sure they do with that money what they say they're going to do, because otherwise you just threw that money away. You don't know what they've done with it. And it's not like, oh, we can trust them. No, you can't.
Right.
You need to make sure that money goes exactly to where you say it needs to go and how you say it. And you have that power. So,
June does a good job. She makes sure she circles back. She wants the name of the student. She wants to know when they gave it to the student. She's an excellent person and an advocate for making sure that money gets where it needs to be. So I commend her for that. She did a good job of that. And we always know when the money was distributed. So kudos to June for making sure she stays on top of that.
So June, what made you be like Kojak on making sure the kids get the money?
Well, like I said, we do our fundraisers to earn this money for the children. So we want to make sure that it is properly distributed. So I do contact both the Morgan State and the Towson University representatives and tell them, okay, the check is on the way. Did you receive it? Then once the semester starts and I go back and say, well, who did you give the scholarship to? I want the names and what majors they have and how they, we can't read their essays per se because they select the honorees or the recipients, but they do send us information about who received it. And then like they will have a scholarship luncheon or dinner every semester. So I just went to Morgan's scholarship fundraiser luncheon in April, and then we just went to Towson's in May. And we sometimes meet the scholarship recipients. We did meet the scholarship recipient at Towson, and they are very appreciative, and they want to learn more about our organization and Charlize. And for our listeners to learn more about Charlize and our foundation, you can go to the number 4 Charlize CHARLIZE Angel ANGEL.org, and you can see all the work we've done. We just went to
let's get that website again, June.
Okay, the number 4 Charlize, which is ARLIZE, Angel, ANGEL.org. And you'll see all the work that we've done. We took
Is
a
that right?
bus. Hmm? Oh, we just took a bus load to see
Is that
to
right?
the Sight and Sound Theater.
Do you see it on the screen?
Yes, there it is.
Okay.
To see the biblical play Moses, and we raised money for that. We had a great time, and so some of that money will be
Moses?
used towards scholarships. Yeah, we went up to Sight and Sound Theater in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, about 3 weeks ago, and that was one of our last fundraisers for the summer. And so a lot of that money will go towards the $2,000 that I'm getting ready to send out today to both Morgan and Towson. I just wrote the checks today.
What'd you mention about Moses?
There's a play called a biblical play at Sight and Sound Theaters in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, that was one of our fundraisers, and about 45 of us went on a bus trip up to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, saw the play. We went out to the outlets, we went out to eat, and we had a great time.
Where'd you eat?
Well, Texas Roadhouse. It wasn't the greatest, but it was nice. It was fun.
I had never eaten in Lancaster before. I ate at a Cracker Barrel.
Okay, yeah.
The
So we
name
had to find
scared me. I
something
didn't
that was
know what to
close to the
expect.
theater. We found something closer to the theater so we could eat and then go to the theater. So it was a great day.
What other kind of fundraisers have you done?
We've done last year. We also went to see David, which was a biblical play at Sight and Sound Theater. We do pop-up shops. We're getting ready to do a Chipotle fundraiser in Towson.
You like
in
Chipotle?
September. Chipotle, like people go in and eat Chipotle, and some of the money will go towards our foundation. So that's coming up in September.
Chipotle?
Yes, I like Chipotle.
Do you get the vinaigrette?
Vinaigrette on what?
It's that salad dressing. Let's stick to the topic.
Oh no.
Oh my God, it will change your life. You got to check it out, June.
Okay.
Other fundraisers, we do the popcorn fundraiser. We've done June, help me out, keep me honest.
We've done
a prayer breakfast.
Oh yeah, prayer breakfast. We just did a prayer breakfast.
Where was the prayer breakfast at?
That was at the Forum in late January. We had speakers, we had preachers, about 9 speakers from the Divine Nine group, and so we had a fundraiser there.
You let others participate?
Yes, that's how we raise money. You let everybody participate when you're trying to have a fundraiser.
We're all about inclusion, not exclusion. So we're all about bringing everybody to the table.
Well, all righty.
And we'll be having another prayer breakfast next year, and probably in February. So we will let you know when that comes about, so you can tell all your listeners. It is a Divine Nine prayer breakfast, but everybody's invited. We try to get a preacher from each organization that comes up and speaks the word for about 10 to 15 minutes a piece. We eat, we have fun, we have singers, we have dancers. So it's a great time. And that will be coming up in next February.
Yeah, it was a fabulous event. It was our first one. So it's going to be an annual thing. So Doni, I expect to see you and many of your listeners at our next one. We'll have to get a bigger venue.
Am I the MC?
It's going to be so big.
He said, is he the MC? Would you like to be the MC?
We'd love to have you MC.
I just don't be getting up early in the morning. I do this show early in the morning. You're asking a lot, Gail.
I'll put you down, June. You got that?
I got it.
Okay.
How long is this? Oh, how long is this?
It's like 3 hours.
Oh my God! I got a 3 hour. That's it. After that, I'm telling you, I'll be ghost.
Okay.
Like, where you at? That's the only problem with church. They just take so daggone long. 2 hours before they even get to the sermon.
Well, I like what I tell people. If you're counting time when you come into church, you're entering in wrong. So once
no. Have you ever been to an Episcopal service?
You shouldn't be paying attention.
I'm Episcopalian too, Doni.
I love Episcopal. Oh, stand up, sit down. Oh, and 20 minutes later, you out the door. Now, them Baptists just, you've been singing the same song for 15 minutes, dog.
Well, Doni, hey, I don't want to dominate the entire show, but I did want to thank you for having me on, to talk about the philanthropic giving for organizations like ours. I so appreciate you and the work that you do in our community. And you are just, you're wonderful, and you just give organizations like ours a voice, and you always put us in front of the people, and you're very supportive. So I appreciate you. I thank you, my brother, and I just wanted you to know how much the Charlize Angel Latanya Gilliam Foundation appreciates you and your support of what we do and our mission.
Do y'all sell T-shirts?
We do not sell T-shirts, no.
Do you think that would be a worthwhile ongoing effort?
T-shirts that say what? That have our foundation on it?
That says what right here, what's on the screen.
We have T-shirts, but we don't sell them. Like, we give them as gifts.
Yeah. We've given them away as gifts.
Or raffles, or, things like that.
You could be selling them.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that's something we can look at, and thank you for the idea. We're always open to suggestions and ideas on how we can raise more funds.
What about a silent auction?
We've done pop-up shops, which it wasn't really a silent auction, but that's an idea. But what we want to move to, Doni, and maybe you can help us with this and connect us with some folks. We want to do move to more corporate sponsors, where we get more corporations engaged in what we do and supporting our efforts and donating to our efforts. So that's really where we think our heavy lift is, and we want to make sure that that's where what we're thinking. We want to think big.
So here's a no-brainer. Within the Deltas, how many members of Delta Sigma Theta in the state of Maryland?
I have no idea of the actual.
So that's one question we want to know. How many Delta members? And not only that, how many of the other Divine Nines, the numbers? And then I want to know, of those, who are, what's the new buzzword for anti-racism? Because they always change in terms.
I don't know. Woke. I don't know.
No, diversity, equity, inclusion.
Oh yeah.
Anti-racism.
Right.
Okay. Who in your Divine Nine are teaching diversity, equity, inclusion, and anti-racism? Who in your sorority, who are officers at this corporation, that corporation, and DEI? Pull them together and start targeting. Well, hey, I work for this company, and they're worth 20 billion. They're worth 20 million. They're worth 10 million. So maybe strategically going through your list or having a meeting about who works where, and who got the money.
That's a good point.
Yeah, get up, because Black women run the world. I'm very clear about that.
Okay, I'm with you. Hey, I'm with you. I like to say I have a great part in that too. So I'm with you. I'm just one of many tentacles, but I believe that women in general run the world. I am a big proponent of.
I said Black women run the world. The Black woman is the first woman on the planet. The Black woman run the world. Okay, y'all take enough heat. So and y'all on the rise.
I feel you, but I say collectively,
Black. No, because people they get news, they get a little power. No, I'm with the Black women. No.
Hey, I love Black women. I'm a Black woman, but I still believe that we can do more collectively than we can do individually. So
people turn on us. They get there, and then all of a sudden they don't know us no more.
Well, we do that to ourselves, so it's not just other people that do that.
No. We
can have that conversation on another call. But today we wanted to thank you for bringing us on to talk about the great work that we're doing and how we continue to strive to bring resources to the children.
All I'm saying is charity starts at home.
Amen. Amen.
See, a lot of times we want to be all the way over there in Ukraine. We need to be right here in West Baltimore, in Northeast Baltimore.
Well, that's our goal, to do what we can for our communities here.
And let me say this, Gail, since you done got me revved up this morning, we got more Black elected officials percentage-wise than any state in Maryland. God damn it, we need to stop asking and start demanding. Nobody wins any election in the state of Maryland without Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Prince George's County. We got to stop acting like beggars sitting on bags of gold. We have the power. We've been had the power. Going back to before the Civil War.
We just have to learn to exercise it collectively.
You daggone Skippy.
Right. Our collective power is great.
We give money to every other cause. We
Mm-hmm.
supporting everything else but our own.
Mm.
If Baltimore City Public Schools was majority white, that lady over there making $400,000 a year delivering an inferior product would be out like yesterday. But because it's black people, it's almost like we're supposed to accept subpar. No, we're not.
Well, I mean, if that is the issue, I must be honest, I'm not up on what's happening in Baltimore City.
Yes, you are. You sell insurance. You sell insurance, and you know insurance is higher in certain zip codes than others. Why? Because of redlining.
That I don't believe that. I have to be honest with you. I don't believe that to be true. I believe that insurance is rated based on the loss experience of a particular area. So I believe that there are areas I probably pay more where I live in Towson than a lot of people in Baltimore City. So it's based on loss experience. I'm telling you what I know. It's based on the loss experience of the geographic area, not any particular thing that's based on trying to keep any individual group down, but it's more about trying to rate properly so that for the experience that you're having in a particular geographic area. That is my experience and that is my understanding. And that's, I mean, we will agree to differ on that. As we talk more, we will probably agree to differ on many things. So
I ain't scared of you, Gail.
Hey, Doni, but thank you again. We're going to let you go and thank you to your viewers.
Well, you got 14 more minutes to talk.
I know, but what else do you want to talk about?
How did your sorority get started? What's the history?
We're not talking about the sorority.
We're not talking about Delta today.
We're going to talk about the foundation.
Right, well, y'all go ahead, then. Bye.
Thank you, Doni.
I appreciate you, Doni. Thank you so much.
We'll see you at the prayer breakfast.
Yes, we have you down as the MC. We've got
2 hours and 45 minutes.
We got you. We got you. All right, we'll talk soon, okay?
You've been watching.
Thank you, listeners.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good morning, world. Got one more comment here. Foundation Center is a online grant outlet that connects to over 100,000 grants. All I'm saying is we have to do our homework. We have to make sure that these people, whomever, they're doing what they say they're going to do. We see a lot of nonprofits come through Sandtown, for instance. By the way, we have a Sandtown community meeting coming up August 30th at Sharon Baptist Church from 6 to 8 p.m. Last night, here in the community, they had National Night Out. They had it in various places across the country, but right here over at Western District, I did speak with Inez Robb, and they had a very active evening planned for those who participated. But you don't have to wait for National Night Out. We all can get involved. You can get involved in your community by stepping out front with a broom and a dustpan and cleaning up your block, cleaning up your alley, and then you find that it's contagious. Just like negative stuff can be contagious, positive stuff can be contagious. And yes, I do think we are to ask questions. We are to ask questions of these various nonprofits on an international level. They're called non-governmental organizations, NGOs, like CARE. We've seen those commercials all our lives. We've seen commercials about the dogs, the animals. We collect money for dogs. But for me, it's how you treat human beings and how you treat the least of us. And yes, there are poverty pimps, churches, all religions that take advantage of our kindness. They're supposed to be helping people, but at the end of the day, you got a CEO making 6 figures, 7 figures, and nothing is really changing. In terms of Baltimore City, yes, when you look at the violence, the guns, the murder, the undereducation, that is happening in our communities, in our families. Yes, I see a lot of nonprofits. They come to the Black community claiming to want to help. And at the end of the day, they only really help themselves. And yes, I'm aware of it. I see them. We want to be on television. We want to be on Instagram. We want to be taking all of these pictures, showing I'm involved. I'm involved. B. Gaddy never had to do any of that foolishness. And if you don't know who B. Gaddy is, let me tell you, B. Gaddy was a person who could go up in the hole and call people by name. Daryl, Michael, Kevin, come out here and get something hot to eat. We don't have that kind of spirit much anymore. I'm not saying everybody, but that's the kind of spirit I identify with, like Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman had her freedom. She had her freedom. Araminta Ross is her real name. Harriet Tubman had her freedom. She hooked up with William Still, the father of the Underground Railroad. And right down the street, actually in the basement of the Urban League at 512, or the original Urban League at 512 Orchard Street, down in the basement, there's a passage in the wall, a tunnel that if you climb through that tunnel, it would take you, according to legend, straight on over to Pennsylvania Avenue. Baltimore had the largest population of free blacks prior to the Civil War. So all of this subterfuge that you see on Fox and even some of the watered down stuff you see on the other stations, they never want you to know the true history of Baltimore. Baltimore has always been a bastion of black strength, of black empowerment, of black pride. And too often we've let other people come in and usurp that power for their own benefit. We don't need a whole bunch of people collecting money. We need that money going to where it needs to go to. We got enough people collecting money, enough people singing songs and giving sermons. We need action. And we need people who are serious about action. And one big problem that's rarely discussed, we talk about it all the time here on this show, is mass incarceration. If your leaders, if your governor, if your mayor, if your city council people and state legislators are not talking about mass incarceration in the black community, then they have failed the black community. Why? America represents 5% of the world's population, yet we have 25% of the world's inmates. I think China has 1.7 million inmates, and America has like 1.4. The challenge is China is like 5 times bigger than the United States. Why does the United States incarcerate so many people, and why does it starve black people? And I do not agree with what the guest said, that, you know, that the insurance is more in other places. I know the insurance is more in the black community. I know because I've had to pay it. Now I use a different address somewhere else and everything goes down. No, I'm not buying that hogwash. Redlining is real. When I think back to the Homestead Act and the various other empowerment, like the Freedmen's Bank. The Freedmen's Bank was the first bank put together for black people coming out of slavery. What happened to the money? They stole the money. That's what America does. They steal. They steal from black people. They burn down. When we build Black Wall Street, they burn it down. They bomb it down. So no, I'm not forgetting that history. I'm not forgetting the diabolical pattern, the, what's the word? The insanity, no, the insidious behavior of those, the cunningness of those who always want to take from our community. And it makes a lot of us want to take from our community. And we're better than that. Left to our own devices, I think we do rather well. But there's always somebody that's trying to throw a monkey wrench in our wheel. My name's Donnie Glover. Thank you for listening to today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. Good morning, world.